welcome everybody. Welcome, fellow patriots. Welcome, fellow deplorables. Welcome, all you dregs to society. Welcome, all you rock dwellers, sycophants, stinkos, all you hateful people who celebrate the president, all you bad people, and we could go on and on and on. The names and labels that we have been tagged with by those loving, generous people from the left. But you're always welcome here, and that's the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader, and joining me as my co-host is the patriot from the battle-born state, the silver state of Nevada, and that's Sharron Engel. Sharron, welcome to Conservative Commandos.
Thank you, Rick. It's always a pleasure to be here, and as you know, I'm always interested in things that are going on in the news that nobody else is really picking up on too much. I always follow our native son, and I use that term very loosely, of Colin Kaepernick. He played for the University of Nevada, Reno. We thought he was a hero, and then he went off the left end of everything and has pretty much disgraced Nevadans, in our opinion. But anyway, the Super Bowl has all those fantastic, interesting commercials. And, you know, I thought it was always, if you had the money, you got the time. But that's not so true. Here's PETA, a left-leaning people who, we always say people who eat tasty animals, but it's it's not that. It's people for the now I can't remember the real acronym, but everyone,
ethical treatment of animals,
right.
I think.
Okay.
Eat tasty animals.
We eat them
Well,
out here.
chicken's tasty. It sounds terrible, but you know, chicken's tasty and beef is tasty, pork is tasty, and they're all animals.
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, that's what we say. But anyway, they defended their controversial ad that the Super Bowl just rejected their application to broadcast. So it didn't matter that they had the money to pay for that Super Bowl ad. They didn't like the content. And they said it trivialized and appropriated quarterback Colin Kaepernick's kneeling protest against public brutality and racial injustice. So the minute-long animated spot, which has gone viral on Twitter, so everybody can go see it if they want to, shows animals from bears to horses taking a knee, ending with the American bald eagle kneeling before the caption rolls, "Respect is the right of every living being." Wow, I think, you know, that's a pretty left message. I just couldn't believe that the broadcasters would reject it. But here's what one of them said. Kristen Clark, the president and executive director of Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under the Law, wrote, "Using kneeling animals in this Super Bowl ad is a new low." So there you have it.
You know what would also be a low? Let's say if those animals were kneeling to pray, or if anybody was kneeling to pray. I doubt that ad would have gotten aired by the Super Bowl either. But Sharron, everybody is just too sensitive today. Okay, I guess we've had too much sensitivity training or whatever, but everybody is too sensitive.
Well,
you know, everybody is, and everyone is offended by everything. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. You certainly cannot tell a joke anymore. That's for sure. Just about everything you do can be construed by somebody as an insult. People are too thin-skinned.
Well, you know, and maybe I let myself open by laughing a little bit about PETA, but the whole thing is that this Colin Kaepernick has his own agenda. PETA has their agenda, And really,
Yep.
I think PETA came out on the best end of this thing. Uh, the Super Bowl only gets a certain number of watchers for a small amount of time on a Sunday afternoon. Their ad now has gone viral on Twitter. How many watches is that going to get from people who didn't even tune in to the Super Bowl? Now they're alerted that there's something out there that they should be watching. And so I think that PETA got a better boost by being rejected than they would have if they'd gotten accepted.
Well, I think that ads that have been rejected by the Super Bowl in the past, as you say, they become media events in and of themselves because they rejected. I produced a video. Maybe you saw it when you vote for Democrat, and it was an anti-abortion ad showing what abortion looks like. It was terrible. It was graphic. There were horrible pictures. But I wanted to think that some organization, some pro-life organization would have picked it up, have taken it to the Super Bowl and say, here, we want to buy time, and therefore would be rejected by the NFL, would be rejected by the networks, and in so doing would produce notoriety for it. So the horrors of abortion could be seen. But actually, I think that, I don't know, some people said I went too far over the top. I don't know if you can go over the top when you talk about the horrors of abortion. But we run that ad from time to time here on Conservative Commandos, so look for it.
Okay. Well, talking about unforced errors, right? That's what sometimes Super Bowl talk is. We have unforced errors in politics. There's unforced errors too. You know, you have a game plan and you go and blow it on your side. And that's what some are saying, that the House Democrats' bungling of the impeachment helped shut down a trial. Democrats were never likely to get enough votes to convict President Trump in an impeachment trial. But Republicans said House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her party made a number of unforced errors that made it that much easier to shut down. One of them was this idea that Nancy Pelosi's moved to hang on to the articles of impeachment for weeks. You know, she said this was critical, had to be done, emergency effort. That's why they couldn't do all their own work over there on the House side. They couldn't complete the trial even because it was such an emergency. Right. And then she held on to it. And they're saying, you know, didn't look like an emergency to the American people. So unforced error there. Number one. And then Ted Cruz said that the two holdout Republicans were convinced to oppose witnesses after Elizabeth Warren said that they were being that Trump was somehow pressuring those senators not to call witnesses. So he says, there you go, Elizabeth Warren. Thank you. You convinced he said the stunt just helped deliver the votes of Lisa and Lamar. He's referring to Lisa Murkowski and Lamar Alexander, who were sitting on the fence over that thing. But thank you, Elizabeth Warren, for pushing them over the top. And Chuck Schumer, he said that it was a grand tragedy to not allow witnesses, no witnesses, no documents in an impeachment trial is a perfidy. But Republicans countered that the Democrats bungled the impeachment in the House, denying Mr. President Trump fair rights and delivering two articles that were fatally flawed. So even Chuck Schumer had a hand in all of this, and they just have gone and ticked off Republicans, making it even easier for them to say, not gonna do this impeachment thing. And I think that Senator Ernst from Iowa makes a good point. She says, you know, what you've done with this impeachment has just made it more likely that if Joe Biden is president, there will be an impeachment.
Oh, I think that impeachment, I think one of the tragedies coming out of all this is that impeachment will be used as a political tool moving further from this. If Donald Trump wins re-election, I think he'll be re-impeached. I really do. That's if the Democrats maintain control of the House of Representatives. But by and large, Sharon, I really do believe that all this impeachment mess, this impeachment hoax, has done one really good thing. I think it's really emboldened and energized people who are supporters of President Donald Trump. But we need to take a break. And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And today's show, like all our shows, is brought to you by the First Amendment, protected by the Second. Sharron and I will be right back. We'll let you know who our guests are for today.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And once again, we want to welcome you and thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Angle. And if you would like to recommend somebody to be a guest on our show, it's easy to do. Just send an email to me. I read all my emails. Rick at conservativecommandosradioshow.com. Rick at conservativecommandosradioshow.com. In the subject line, please put guest referral or recommendation. And Sharron, speaking of guests, once more, 3 more people will be joining us here that have a lot of important things to say.
Well, you're right, Rick. Our first guest is John Dennis, who is seeking to be the Republican candidate to unseat Nancy Pelosi for this California CD12. He put himself through Fordham University and graduated with a degree in business administration with concentration in finance and marketing. John's partner at Human Scale, one of the world's top 10 design firms specializing in office furniture. And John worked in tech during the dot-com era. John is currently the chairman of the San Francisco Republican Party, where he has served since 2008. And he serves as the vice chairman on the national board of the RLC. John is endorsed by U.S. Senator Rand Paul and Congressman Thomas Massey, and also by California Republican National Committee woman Harmeet Dillon, who is also a supporter. We've asked John to come on and talk about his candidacy opposing Nancy Pelosi. Now, they've got a really rare situation in California, and I'm sure he'll talk more about this idea that you don't just have a Republican primary. There isn't really such a thing. It's the top 2 candidates have a runoff, and that could be 2 Democrats. So he has an uphill battle even against their election system out there. Our second guest is Eric Rittmeyer. He's been on our show many times before. He is a former U.S. Marine and an expert in the field of mental toughness and emotional intelligence. He speaks to audiences all over the country, teaching executives and sales professionals how to overcome the limits brought on by fear, emotions, and replace them with clear, concise, critical thinking that gets results. We've asked him to come on and talk about an article in the New York Post that recently reported that since 2020 began, that's just a little over a month ago, that robberies in New York City are up 32.5%, car theft is up 61%, and burglaries are up 18%. And our third guest is Chuck DeVore, who is the president for National Initiatives for Texas Public Policy Foundation. Chuck also served as a Republican member of the California State Assembly and represented the 70th District, which includes portions of Orange County. DeVore was president of the Assembly Revenue and Taxation Committee and vice chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee. He was also on the Budget Committee and a member of the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, and he sought the Republican nomination for the United States Senate. He's going to talk about an article he's written, Will Texas Flip Because of the Blue State Migrants? So we're going to talk about outmigration of Californians to Texas. How is that going to impact Texas elections, and more importantly, or as importantly, the national election?
Mm-hmm. Well, Sharron, as we sit here and do this show, there seems to be almost a civil war going on in the Democrat Party. You know, everybody knows that Bernie Sanders was done wrong by the DNC and the Hillary Clinton people back in 2016. You know, Sharron, it looks like the fix may be in again against Bernie.
Well, certainly Bernie thinks so. He has been blasting the DNC for debate rule challenges in Cedar Rapids. And the closer they get to this presidential race, to those first votes of 2020 being cast in the Iowa caucus, the more the ghosts of 2016 primary haunt the party. Mm-hmm. So they're saying nobody gives Bernie Sanders a fair shake in the Democrat Party. And he's probably going to ride that horse for quite a while, because everybody agrees that they didn't do right by Bernie in 2016.
Yeah. You know, Sharron, I think another example of this revolt in the Democrat Party is Rashida Tlaib at a rally for Bernie Sanders in Iowa the other day. Rashida Tlaib led a booing of Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton, former First Lady of the United States, former Secretary of State, former presidential candidate, booed just 4 years later by Rashida Tlaib and a bunch of Democrats.
And why was that, Rick? I don't get it. I don't understand why Rashida Tlaib would boo the grande dame of the Democrat Party. She may not be a viable candidate anymore, but certainly she deserves a little respect, I would think.
Well, I don't know if she deserves, I would want to boo her, but, I'm a conservative. I have reasons. Right, I think I have very good reasons to boo Hillary Clinton. But when you're being booed by people who are supposed to be on your side, who teamwork, kumbaya, let's get together and do this, to be booed at a rally attended by primarily Democrats and liberals, my God, what does that say? We all knew that Hillary Clinton wasn't very liked, but we thought she wasn't very liked by our side. It's not very liked by their side.
No, and, it seems like they just don't get it. It was at a campaign event for Senator Bernie Sanders, who's the leading runner in all of this. So you would think that, especially at a rally for one of their top candidates, where you're going to have all of your homies there, that you would mind your manners. But Rashida Tlaib just doesn't seem to have many manners at all. Like you said, we might have done that, but I think that we're even a little more civil than that. We didn't go to the rally, obviously, and wouldn't have gone probably if we'd have had a chance, just because we don't like any of those guys over there.
Well, Sharron, I also wanted to say, talking about rallies, there was a rally last week in Wildwood, New Jersey. The convention hall in Wildwood held about 7,000 people. 150,000 people tried to get tickets for that rally. Around the same time, Joe Biden had a rally. He got 75 people for a rally for the former vice president of the United States. So I don't know. I think this is reminding me of 2016 all over again. And what I mean by that is during 2016, Donald Trump would have a rally. He would get tens of thousands of people there. Hundreds of thousands more would be watching on the internet or on television. Around the same time Hillary Clinton would have a rally, she'd get a few hundred people, a few thousand more watching on the internet and TV, and that was it. Now, I'm feeling this all over again, Sharron Engel. Not trying to make a point, just an observation.
Just an observation. Well,
just an observation.
It will be interesting to see now that these early caucus states are revving up. This is the month for it. We'll see all the early caucuses coming out, and then of course we'll have Super Tuesday in March. So they're revving up for this. We'll see how the crowds turn out, or if they'll all be nonplussed by this plethora of candidates. But Amy Klobuchar, hope springs eternal. She says, I've been punching way above my weight. Way above my weight. But she is optimistic. She's trying to embrace that role as the underdog, and she's poised for a surprise finish. So we'll see if it's a surprise. If she can turn her folks out more than Biden or Sanders or Warren or even Mayor Pete Buttigieg. It's an interesting group that they've got going there, but I just wonder if anybody's going to even turn out for the caucuses. I guess we'll wait and see, but it may be that same group that showed up there in New Jersey for Senator Biden.
Well, the one wild card you didn't mention in all this was little Mikey, Mike Bloomberg. Where you get? I never heard him called Mike. It was always Michael Bloomberg. But now he's trying to get with the people. So he's Mike. President calls him Little Mike. He said during a rally he goes like this: "I've had it up to here with Little Mike." So that brought the house down. He is spending a lot of money, Sharron. He is spending an awful lot of his own money, and God bless him, it's his money. He can do with what he wants with it. And he's setting up for some sort of results on Super Tuesday. Rudy Giuliani, remember, had the same strategy. It didn't work out very good for Rudy. Let's see how it works out for Michael Bloomberg.
Well, the other guy that's spending a ton of money, especially here in Nevada, is Tom Steyer. And I don't know if even these guys will even be on the Democrat caucus ballots.
Well, it's hard to say. And by the way, they're making a special accommodation for Bloomberg now to get into the debates, which is making some people who left, like Cory Booker, a little bit angry. Sharron, we got to take a break. And you are listening to and watching the Conservative Commandos radio show. TV show also. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. On the other side, we're going to be speaking with John Dennis. John is a Republican candidate. He's looking to unseat Nancy Pelosi. Go, John, go. We got to cheer him on and help him out and support his campaign. But John will be joining us right after this break.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving, and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And once again, I want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And for rebroadcast, please check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. And be sure to like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And with that, Sharron, we do have our first guest with us. And as you do with all our guests, please make him feel welcome.
Thank you. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce John Dennis, who's seeking the Republican candidate nomination to unseat Nancy Pelosi in California District 12. He put himself through Fordham University and graduated with a degree in business administration with a concentration in finance and marketing. John is a partner in Human Scale, one of the world's top 10 design firms specializing in office furniture. And John worked in tech during the dot-com era. John is currently the chairman of the San Francisco Republican Party, where he has served since 2008 and serves as vice chairman on the national board of the RLC. John is endorsed by U.S. Senator Rand Paul and Congressman Thomas Massie. And California Republican National Committeewoman Harmeet Dillon is also a supporter. John, welcome to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure, always our pleasure to see someone courageous enough to run for office, and doubly our pleasure to see one courageous enough to take on Nancy Pelosi. She seems wounded, like you might have a chance. Talk to us a little bit about your chances there, because we know she's definitely in a Democrat district in a Democrat state.
Well, it is a very heavily Democrat district, but, Nancy Pelosi just seems to keep on piling up failures. She failed with Obamacare. She had to jam that through Congress on partisan lines. She had to jam through impeachment, which is about to fail in the Senate, again, through partisan lines. And then take a look at our district. I mean, you've seen the national news stories. You've seen the pictures. It speaks for itself. We have a dirty, filthy district littered with used hypodermic needles, human waste, and unfortunately, thousands and thousands and thousands of people sleeping on the streets every single night. So Nancy Pelosi is ripe for return to sender, and we hope to deliver that letter this year.
I hope you do too. Let's talk a little bit about your city. Now, Nancy would say, well, that's really not my job as a congresswoman. That's the city council. That's the county commissioners. What do you say to that, John?
Well, a congresswoman or man who happened to be in this district would certainly take responsibility for it if they weren't so focused on their shenanigans in Washington. I mean, any congressman would have to come to their district and work with the city government to say, hey, what can we do? You know, San Francisco gets $500 million a year in federal funds, 45 million of it earmarked specifically for the homeless. Nancy Pelosi has just rubber stamped that money through and asked nothing in return. So what she's done is she's encouraging failure, and that's something that I just won't abide when I become the congressman. I won't give the money, frankly. I won't submit those requests for federal funds until the local city management shows me that they know how to use it. And by the way, if they succeed, I'm happy to request more for them. But we just can't have a situation where our local city government is failing and we're just encouraging it. That's just not a recipe for success.
Well, I think your words not encouraging are a little soft. She's ignoring the problem completely, as we can see it from here in Nevada. We're just watching all of that filth kind of filter our way and wondering, where are you, Nancy Pelosi? Don't you care? Not just about San Francisco, but the rest of the state, because it does kind of affect everyone, doesn't it, John?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, make no mistake about it. Nancy Pelosi is a powerhouse in California Republican politics. Before she won the special election in 1987, she was the chairwoman of the California Democratic Party. Her nephew is Gavin Newsom. The ties are strong. Nancy Pelosi brings a lot of pork to California, so she's not just responsible, or at least bears an enormous amount of responsibility for San Francisco, but a big responsibility for the failures of California as well.
Talk about your district a little bit. Is it just San Francisco?
Yeah, we're one of the few congressional districts that resides entirely within the city. So it's actually not even the entire city. It's about 80% of it. And so it all resides within the city and county of San Francisco. We'll have very heavily Democrat, but I'm happy to say, as you mentioned earlier, I'm the chairman of the San Francisco Republican Party. It's the growing San Francisco Republican Party. For the first time in decades, Republican Party registration is up in San Francisco, and I think a lot of it has to do with people being disgusted with the failures of people like Pelosi and the local Democrats, and frankly, being attracted to the president. I think that has a lot to do. I think people are, in some small way, even in San Francisco, seeing through the mendacity of the mainstream media.
Well, I would think that some of the president's policies have really affected San Francisco in a positive way. We know that the cost of living there is just sky high. That's another thing. None of us can afford to go to San Francisco and live there for any time. The housing is just so expensive, and that really needs to change there. And I would think that Pelosi has a bit to do with that as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think our big businesses are tourism and tech. And both are thriving businesses in San Francisco, although the tourism business is actually taking a bit of a hit because of the local management problem. We lost two big conventions. We lost the big Medical Association convention, and then we lost Oracle World, which is a big deal because Oracle is not only in a massive, important company, but it's a Bay Area company, and they're taking their convention to Las Vegas. So not a great look for San Francisco, but the economy is doing really well, and we have a tale of two cities. We have the more billionaires per capita in San Francisco than anywhere else on earth, but tonight more people will sleep on the streets in San Francisco than any other city in America.
And that's partly due to Pelosi, because I'm sure she's not one of those that will sleep in the streets. She's one of those wealthy ones, isn't she?
Well, she lives about 3/4 of a mile to my left here. And I can assure you, we just drove by her place this morning, and I can assure you there are no homeless people in her neighborhood. There are no hypodermic needles outside in front of her house. So she doesn't see that. But, we actually, the San Francisco Republican Party co-sponsored an event with Scott Pressler, who I'm sure you've been following, who's doing the cleanups in all these cities.
Yeah.
Well,
So Scott came into San Francisco on Saturday. We had about 150 volunteers with a message of, just a nice positive energy. As Scott says, a message of love, bringing Republican positivity to San Francisco. And we walked through the streets and cleaned up. And I took them into this one alley. It's actually not an alley. It's just a small side street. And all I could say is, folks, is just look at the videos that are coming from, that are emerging from it. It was astonishing. I mean, places that I drive by that I just look down and just, shake my head as I'm passing them, on a regular everyday routine, walking through and seeing what's happening in those streets, the smell and what people are living in. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's like Karachi or Mumbai or the Rio favelas. It's beyond belief. And it's happening not just in America, but it's happening in the richest city in America. And, Nancy Pelosi is meanwhile impeaching Donald Trump with pipe dreams and nonsense. And meanwhile, in her own district, people are living in ways that are just unfit for humans. And not to mention the fact that we're running into veterans sleeping on the streets. And meanwhile, we have illegal immigrants who are being given handouts. It's just, the whole thing is out of whack. It's totally, unreasonable. And anyway, Pelosi bears a lot of the blame for all of that.
Well, I would say she bears most of the blame. If Gavin Newsom's her nephew, she has put people in office that are directly culpable in all of this, and she has persuaded people to vote for those. So I think that you're being mild again. She's to blame. She could do something about it, and she's not. We are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California, San Francisco, San Rafael, Marin, North Bay, San Jose, Silicon Valley, Santa Rosa, Wine Country, Sacramento, Chico, and soon to come to California, to Nevada in Carson City, Tahoe, and Reno. Pelosi country there with our guests. We've been talking to John Dennis, who's running against Nancy Pelosi, and it's about time that we retired her from the U.S. Congress. We'll be right back. I'm Sharron Engel. My co-host is Rick Trader.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And once again, we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. Want to give a shout out to folks who are listening to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder, Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also seen on the AUN television network. Our guest this segment is John Dennis. John is seeking the Republican nomination to run against Nancy Pelosi to represent the 12th Congressional District. John, thank you for holding through that break. We really do appreciate your time.
Rick, if I can just make a quick correction. So in California, we have this, what's referred to as the open primary or the jungle primary. So it's not a closed primary system. I'm the endorsed candidate of the San Francisco Republican Party and soon to be endorsed by the California Republican Party. But everyone runs against everybody else. So in our system, Pelosi presumably will be the top vote getter. And I'm working to angling. Sorry, Sharron, angling to be to become the top in the top two.
Thank you for correcting me on that. I appreciate that. John, you said that Pelosi lives about 3/4 of a mile from where you're sitting right now. Can you tell me, is there a wall around her house? Is that true?
No, she has the only wall-less house in San Francisco. Everyone is welcome to live in Nancy Pelosi's house. So just come on by. I would say knock on her door, but she doesn't have a door. You just walk right in.
All right. John, that leads me to, I wanted to talk with you about some of the issues that you are running on. Let's talk about immigration, in particular, illegal immigration. How would you handle it?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, you have to seal off the border. I mean, the reason why the border wall works is because the Democrats don't want it. And so, and it also seems to work in other parts of the world. So I would seal off the border. And also, I used to be sort of a more open immigration libertarian type, but I also come to realize that we need to allow the folks who are here legally even to assimilate into the culture. And as they do, they'll come to embrace even more the American values. So I would of course cut off all of the services that illegals can participate in. And I would seal the border, and then I would go for a really tight legal immigration policy for some period of time so that we can reestablish who we are as Americans. We've had a lot of bleed from other cultures who've come into the United States who don't really understand the value of individual liberty and the beautiful gift of the Enlightenment upon which this country was founded. And if we can reassert that and reestablish it, I think we can actually have the great American Renaissance.
All right. Well, let's talk about the military. Let's talk about defense. Let's talk about foreign policy. On your website, you say, I will remind my colleagues and any president that the Constitution makes it clear the war powers resides in the people's house. Could you explain that, John? And what about how Donald Trump has taken out bad guys like Soleimani and Baghdadi? Do you think the president should have the right to make and choose those strikes when he has the opportunity to?
Well, the president has not only the authority but the moral obligation to defend Americans when he sees an imminent threat on any American, any American really anywhere where we are. But I'm talking specifically about when we go to war, how we go to war. It's rather clear. Article 1, Section 8 puts the war power firmly in the Congress's hands. And I think, by the way, this was a critical mistake of how we got into war in both Afghanistan and in Iraq. The Congress were cowards, frankly. They reneged on their constitutional obligation to declare war. And what they did was they gave the executive branch an authorization to use military force, the AUMF. And we are still paying the price to this day. We are still in Iraq. We're still in Afghanistan for no good reason. American sons and daughters are being lost there. They're being harmed there. We're losing treasure. This is all because Congress didn't follow its constitutional obligation. It is so critical. I'm super supportive of the president, and I think he understands more than anybody that he wants the backing of the Congress, and it's his constitutional obligation to have the backing of the Congress to go to war. But of course, the president has the obligation, the authority to defend us from any imminent attack.
John, you also have on your website talking about foreign policy. The founders never intended for the United States to be the policeman of the world.
Speaks for itself. That's it. I mean, we have 30,000 troops in Korea. We have 60,000 in Germany. In Korea, we're defending South Korea, the South Korean border with the North. Meanwhile, what do we have going on in our own southern border? Mm-hmm. I would rather see those troops on our border defending us from people coming into the country illegally than defending somewhere else. I mean, how long is this going to go on? How long is the American taxpayer going to be forced to pay for these long forgotten wars largely? And so I think it's time to start bringing people home. We had an interesting thing after the Cold War when the Iron Curtain fell. We did, if some of you, I bet Sharron, you remember this. We actually did a review of all the domestic bases and closed a lot of them. A lot here in the Bay Area, but we have never once done that kind of review with all of the bases that we have around the world, which could be as many as 800. Never once. And so I think it's time it's long overdue. We really need to take a long look at that and see where it could save us some money, especially when we're running $1 trillion a year federal deficits.
Our guest this segment is John Dennis. John is the Republican, and he's seeking to unseat Nancy Pelosi, and he would like to represent California's 12th congressional district. John, in the introduction, Sharron mentioned that you're being endorsed by Senator Rand Paul. You're also calling for an audit of the Fed, as well as cutting spending 2% a year over the next 10 years. Could you talk about your fiscal policies?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's me again, Sharron. Sorry, I'm being moderate there. I would rather see really deep cuts really quickly, frankly. That's my cup of tea. I don't understand. If you look at what the Department of Commerce does, tell me why businesses can't do what the Department of Commerce does. With the Department of Education, it used to be part of the platform that we would get rid of the Department of Education of the Republican Party. 1980, the Department of Education has been around since 1980. I'm not sure still quite what it does. So I would like personally a much more aggressive cut in federal spending. But my friend Rand introduced initially the penny plan, and then spending got so out of control, he had to introduce the 2-penny plan. And it would have actually gotten us to the point where we balanced the federal budget in 5 years. And what's striking to me is that he couldn't get support from Republicans in the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate. Federal debt, we hear Democrats talking about how climate change is the existential threat, and we have this existential threat. What's a threat to the Republic? $23 trillion in federal debt. And they have to artificially keep these interest rates low for a lot of reasons, including the fact if interest rates went up, the payments to service that debt would go up dramatically and blow up the budget even more. So this is a really serious situation. It could tear us apart in a really particularly nasty recession, especially given today's political climate. I think it really is something that urgently needs to be dealt with.
John Dennis, so glad that we have had an opportunity to talk with you here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. John, one of the things that I say to our audience all the time is we conservatives need to support fellow conservatives no matter where they're at. If they're in our own district, like we broadcast in your district, Channel 3 in San Francisco and Sacramento, San Jose, which is not far from you, but even if there's a conservative clear across the country, we've got to get behind them and support them. So I wanted to ask you, what are you asking people to do for you? How can they help you, and how can they reach out to you?
Well, let me just, before I tell you exactly that, I do want to reinforce that, because imagine how encouraging, what a spark it would be to see a continuing, growing Republican Party in the most liberal big city in America. So it's really important, even though sometimes these races seem symbolic, they mean so much more than that. I mean, a growing Republican Party threatening Nancy Pelosi's grip on San Francisco would be a thing of beauty. So what people can do is they can go to my website, they can sign up to volunteer if they don't have, if they can't donate. If they can donate, that's a huge help. We need a lot of voter contact, and every nickel we spend goes into contacting voters and winning votes to make sure that Nancy Pelosi has to answer to our message. And you can also do little things like just follow us on Twitter at Real John Dennis, Instagram at Real John Dennis, on our Facebook page. And we're putting out a lot of great content and info, and hopefully that'll inspire people to stay engaged, not just with us, but with conservative and libertarian issues around the country.
Well, I feel real honored to be sitting here with two people that are taking and have taken on two of the political giants in the Democrat Party, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi. Wow, I feel very honored. But John Dennis, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. We're hoping that in the in the time to come leading up to the election, you'll come back and talk with us some more about some of your ideas and visions for America. Would you do that, sir?
It would be my pleasure. And because Sharron and I, we have to plot how I'm going to have my man-up moment with Nancy Pelosi.
She can give you a lot of great advice. I know that. John Dennis, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And this is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And on the other side, we're going to have Eric Rittmeyer join us. He's a former U.S. Marine, and he's going to be talking about an article that was in the New York Post recently that reports that robberies, break-ins, and all crimes are up in New York over 32%. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And welcome back to the Conservative Commandos. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And people ask me all the time, Rick, how do you get your guests? Well, a lot of them are referrals from our listeners and viewers that say, Rick, why don't you have people, this person or that person on? Well, if you'd like to make a recommendation, please send an email to me. It's easy to do. I read all my emails. It's Rick at conservativecommandosradioshow.com. Rick at conservativecommandosradioshow.com. Put in the subject line guest recommendation. And with that, Sharon, we do have our next guest with us. And as I say all the time, as you do with all our guests, please make them feel welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure to welcome back a longtime friend of the show, Eric Rittmeyer, who is a former U.S. Marine and is an expert in the field of mental toughness and emotional intelligence. He speaks to audiences all over the country, teaching executives and sales professionals how to overcome the limits brought on by fear and emotions and replace them with clear, concise, critical thinking that gets results. Eric, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Thanks for having me, Sharon. You know, the one thing I forgot to mention in there is I didn't update my bio. Actually, I've written a book since last time we spoke. It's written in crayon. It's written in crayon. Crayon, Rick. Don't get too excited. It's not your reading level, okay? I'm a Marine. I can't read or write. Remember that, okay? But yes, I've read a book since. That's funny. And the other thing you should mention, Rick, about your guest, anybody wants to be a guest, you forgot to mention the big paycheck you sent me. So that might entice some more people. You forgot that.
Don't get that rumor out, Eric. Don't get that rumor out because there is no paycheck.
I'm just messing.
Or host or co-host either, for that matter. So
exactly.
Don't start that.
So are we seeing the cover of your book in the background, The Emotional Marine by Eric Rittmeyer?
That's my big book. It's The Emotional Marine. It's about mental toughness and emotional intelligence tips on how to get people to instantly like you, is what I say. And we just live in the society of hatred, right? We know this. We talked off air. We live in the society of everybody. I call it fabricated hate. So it's kind of I call it the 2020 equivalent to the love, peace, hair grease hippie movement from the 1960s. Just be cool with each other. Nobody, kuna matata. Everybody wants to love each other. Just be cool to people. So it's a book on how to teach people how to be cool. That's it.
Well, here we go, because we've got some questions for you on a New York Post that they recently reported that since 2020 began, so we're not hardly 30 days, what are we, 33 days into 2020, robberies in New York City are up 38.5%. Car theft is up 61% and burglaries are up 18%. That's not Kuna Matata. That's not love of any kind. What's going on in New York City?
It's the whole bail reform thing, and this is really sweeping the nation right now. It's the bail reform. It's the you're going to break the law and go to jail, and we're going to release you the same night without any type of bail, which is pure insanity. I think New York City is a prime example of that. I mean, if you're looking for any more confirmation, look no further than the fact that the law goes into effect January 1, and we see these insanely high spikes in crime. There's no denying the fact that's a contributing piece of it. Even before that went into effect, we had the rise of anti-Semitism act, especially in New York City. They had that one lady that was actually arrested like 3 times over a few-day time period for physically assaulting Jewish women in the street. She slapped like 2 of them, went to jail, got released, came back out. It happened like 2 more times. It's insanity. The guys who assaulted the police officer, you probably saw a video of that. He's on trying to arrest a guy on the ground, and innocent people are walking by, kicking the police officer. It's out of control. So my take on this is, and it's not just New York City and Baltimore, we're having the same problem. If somebody gets arrested and they know they're getting back out in the street tonight, there's no deterrence there. Why would they stop breaking the law?
Well, we thought that Rudy Giuliani kind of took New York City in hand, got it to be a safe place. Everybody wanted to visit there again, and everything was going smoothly. How much of this do you put at Mayor de Blasio's doorstep?
Oh, it's a huge part of this. That's the whole thing. I mean, it's Marine Corps 101. You lead by example. When you have the leader of the city who is warning his own son, he has an African-American son, when he's warning his own son to be very cautious when dealing with police officers, it's like, if you're warning your son of that, how are you treating your police force? I mean, if you can't give them support, you got them on the street when we had the water bucket stuff going on. You got these police officers just getting crapped on, and there's no support for it. It's insane. He can't go on television and talk about he was running for president of the United States. And what happens if someone like him gets in office? Like gun control. You got these people talking about, we're going to ring your doorbell, Beto O'Rourke. We're going to ring your doorbell and take your weapons from you. You got people like that are literally running for president. So someone like de Blasio, he's running the city, and all of a sudden he's telling people, be cautious of police officers. He's their boss, and he's telling people to be careful around them. It's crazy. It's scary. It starts at the top all the way down. That's a major problem in New York City.
Well, how far up is the top? We know that Bloomberg is now running for president. Is he part of that top?
Mini Mike, right? Mini Mike, he hates that. He gets so angry. Oh my goodness, they're in like this big spat. Now, you've probably seen that. You've probably seen all that going on. Yeah, well, he just ran this ad on the Super Bowl. I don't know if you saw that now. They're saying how deceiving it is. I don't know if you saw that. He ran that ad about the mom who lost her son, which is very tragic, obviously. Very tragic. But they portrayed it as being a child that was killed. Meanwhile, he was an 18-year-old. He's a man. It's still a child, whatever. He's a man, though. But they portray this as guns. These guns are killing all these babies, which, again, there absolutely is a problem with children dying. But he spends millions of dollars on this ad, and it's not even true. It's not even accurate. He's an 18-year-old man. So it's like, it's these things, it's these people, they're running on emotion. It's what they're trying to do. It's what the left is known to do. They run on emotion. There's no fact behind anything. They're just trying to tug on people's heartstrings, and they're not producing facts. They're producing fiction, which is not good for anybody.
Well, and I saw it as not only anti-gun control, but also as anti-law enforcement. Did you see that as well?
Oh my goodness, that's the wave of the future here. Let's crap on law enforcement. Let's crap on ICE. Let's crap on Border Patrol. There should be free borders for everybody. Everybody run free. Don't respect the police. This all starts, again, top down. If you start laying down the law, we're having this problem right now in Baltimore. Baltimore is having a very, very difficult time. Okay, last year, we have 600,000 people in the city. Last year, we had 57 people per 100,000 that were murdered. Okay, so in a city of 600,000 people, we had 348 murders. Compare that to New York City. They have 6 million people, and they had 309 murders the whole year. So you look at the problems we're having in Baltimore City, that's scary to think, like, how many murders this year we're outpacing last year, already this year. So I have other thoughts on that. My big thought on that is lack of fathers. I catch a ton of heat for this too. It's a lack of fathers. Baltimore City, Chicago is the same way. 70% of households, kids are growing up without fathers. Okay, so you want to talk about some common threads here? Mass shootings. 90% of the mass shootings happen by kids that grew up without fathers. So am I saying that if you grow up in a house without your biological father, you're going to go out and commit crime and murder? Absolutely not. I grew up without my biological father. My grandparents raised me. I didn't kill anybody. Okay, I'm not saying that, but if you're looking for common denominators, let's start with the home life. Let's start with the fact of how many millions of kids are growing up without a father in the house. That absolutely has an impact.
Well, and obviously you felt it, or you wouldn't be so adamant that fathers are important. I see your book in the background there, The Emotional Marine, and we've got you pretty emotional here over this subject, but I'm going to push one more button for you before we have to go to the break, and that is repeat offenders. You talk about 385 attacks. How many of those were repeat offenders? Or, I mean, is this just out of the blue and we just have a criminal rampage here? Everybody is getting in on the act.
Again, go back to presidential candidates. There are people that are running on, they're going to release half the prison population. Okay, how do you do that? Why do you do that? You look at rates of recidivism, okay? There was a study that was done, Bureau of Justice. They did a study back in 2005 that released people from prison in 30 states. 83% of the people that were released from prison were arrested within the first 9 years following. 44% within the first year got arrested after being released from prison. So I understand that we don't want to throw people in prison and take away the key and toss the key and leave them there and never try to fix them. I get that. But there are some people who do not belong in society. And the fact that we're jeopardizing the vast majority of this population to appease the 1% that are committing crimes, that are killing, that are committing assault, that are doing all these things, why should we bend over backwards to let them out of jail? Some people can't function in society. Keep them in jail if they can't function out here. I want to be safe. I want my kids to be safe. I don't want you to rot away. But if you can't function like a human being, you don't belong out here with the rest of us.
Well, we're here at Conservative Commandos Radio Network Studios, and we're talking with our guest, Eric Rittmeyer, who's written the book, The Emotional Marine. And we have been talking about crime and all of the factors that go into the crime that's been going on in New York just in the past month. We are coming to you, as I said, from around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. Now you can watch us on the AUN TV network in Northern California. I'm Sharron Angle, here with my co-host Rick Trader, and we'll be right back with our guest, Eric Rittmeyer, after these messages.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And once again, we want to welcome you back. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. And as a reminder for rebroadcast, check out our website, ccrshow.com. That's ccrshow.com. Also, be sure to like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Our guest this segment is former Marine Eric Rittmeyer. He's also has written a book, The Emotional Marine. And Eric, let's start out this segment by giving thanks to you for your service to our country. God bless you for that, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Eric, you in your press release, you talked about, according to the New York Post, since the beginning of 2020, which we're into our second month now, there has been robberies in New York City is up 32%, car thefts 61%, burglaries 18%. But you know, Eric, you pointed out New York here, but it's going on across the country, in particular in these liberal cities. And let's bring into this San Francisco. That in San Francisco, that there is a 300% increase in car thefts just over a period since last year. And that black market gangs are openly stealing retail merchandise and selling it on the black market. There's no consequences for it. You got a district attorney out there, Chelsea Bodine, who was raised by Bill Ayers and Bernadette Dorn after his parents were arrested. Eric, it's not just in New York, it's not just in Baltimore, it's in San Francisco, it's in Philadelphia. It's in all the metropolitan areas that are living by these liberal codes of morals now. what is you mentioned the fact that in many of these homes that criminals come out of, there's no father figure there, but I'll also add, no one's there to teach them morality. There's no one there to instill faith in God. What other ideas did you have that may be driving these horrible statistics?
You even take the lack of fathers out of the equation, take a step back. We just live in this outrage culture. We are hypersensitive to every single thing that every person even breathes. They don't have to say a word. They breathe, and everybody gets so sensitive about it. Everybody's so angry, and everybody automatically assumes the worst intentions of people. So automatically, when somebody says something that you disagree with that upsets you, everybody just goes right to this, why are you being mean? You're being so bad. You want to hurt me, whatever. They just go to this, you're trying to do everything to hurt me, as opposed to, okay, maybe we don't really dislike each other. Maybe we can all get along. It's tearing apart the social fabric of our country. There's no common thread in the country. We talked about this on the 4th of July segment we did, but it's the whole thing it's about veterans too. You know, it's like you look at anybody who served, which just 7.3% of our nation, believe it or not, are veterans, just 7.3%. Just 0.4% of our population is currently serving active duty. So you look at that and you think, okay, what's the big difference between World War II era, whatever, and where we are now? It's the camaraderie. It's the common thread. It's the social fabric. We don't have that now. Everybody's going in just 1,000 different directions. Nothing brings us together. There's no social fabric. There isn't religion. There isn't military. There isn't anything we can agree on. Everybody has to be constantly going at each other, and it's making everybody angry, and it's making everybody nasty, and it's creating this fabricated hate, I call it. Nobody hates anybody. We're born to love. We're taught hate. And we're being so hateful because people disagree with us.
This idea of criminal justice reform has been going around. In fact, there are groups out there that call them conservative groups that are actually pushing this idea that we need criminal justice reform. I think what we need, Eric, is we just need our laws enforced. We need judges to adhere to our Constitution and enforce the laws and not rule on how they feel about things. President Trump has gone a long way I think he's made the corner here on replacing these liberal judges with conservative justices now. Even in the 13th district out there, the crazy 9th in California, that there is more of a parity there now between liberal thinking and conservative thinking. How are judges playing into this, Eric?
Well, it's a huge part. And you look at what President Trump has done so far. He has, 2 Supreme Court justices he's put on the bench. 178, I think, was the last count he had for federal judges. That is a lifetime of change. So after he's even gone, that lasts a lifetime, which is insane. But, you take it on a micro level too, Rick, and you look at even what President Trump has done with the whole Iran thing, with Soleimani, with killing Soleimani. That he's restoring deterrence is what he's doing. So basically what he's showing the rest of the world, and again, this is on a micro level, what he's showing the rest of the world is when this happens, this is how we're going to respond. So there's a deterrence there. So Iran now knows when we do this, somebody's going to die. Prior to Trump in office, we did things, nothing happened. We were given pallets of cash in the middle of the night, hundreds of billions of dollars. Not anymore. Now we do things we know we're going to die. It's the same thing when you break it down to the city level. If you're starting at the very top saying, you know what, you commit the crime, you do the time. And when the time is to come out, you commit the crime again, you come back in for twice as long. So it absolutely starts at the top all the way down. If the judges can't enforce it, look at the poor police. They're out there putting people in jail. They're seeing them on the street 2 days later. How do you explain that? Like, why do we have to bow our knees to the 1% of the crazy thugs out there at the expense of the 99% of people who are doing nothing wrong? It's sad.
Eric, what about the idea of 3 strikes you're out? Do you think 3 strikes you're out made us safer? There are a lot of people out there that say judges are being handcuffed by this 3 strikes you're out law, and therefore we got to get rid of it. What's your feeling about it?
My feeling is you do the crime, you commit the crime, you do the time. And I think there has to be a severity type thing here. Okay, prison reform, I get it. All right. Okay, you commit a crime that's non-violent, not drug related. Okay, we're going to be a little more lenient on you. But when you have these repeat offenders, again, 83% of people who are released from prison were rearrested within 9 years. 43% in the first year. They're obviously not learning their lesson. So nobody wants people in jail, but it's just a totally broke system that they're committing crime knowing that what's going to happen to me. I don't care nothing's going to happen to me. So yeah, the three strike thing, you're out. It all boils down to police in my mind, because they're the ones that are really getting crapped on. They're putting the people in jail. They're getting right back on the street. We're dealing with it here with Mosby, our state's attorney for Baltimore City, Marilyn Mosby. We had the police officer down the city get spit on by somebody. Literally, they spit on him. He's arresting him, getting jumped by people. The Baltimore Police Union says, like, this is crazy, this is nuts. Marilyn Mosby comes out and says, you're just trying to flare things up, police union. Why are you trying to flare all this up? Because you got citizens that are spitting on police officers and they're jumping them on the street. You're the state's attorney saying, we should just let them back on the street. Where's this broke?
Where's it broke? It's broke in a lot of places. Eric Rittmeyer, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Conservative Commandos radio show. Please tell our audience how they could follow your work and what you do, and also buy that book, Emotional Marine.
Thanks, Rick. Only if you want to be nice to people and learn how to interact with other people. My book's on Amazon. Thank you. My book's on Amazon. It's The Emotional Marine. My website is mentaltoughnesspeaker.com. I'm on Twitter @mentalspeaker. I'm all over internet. I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over Instagram, all that good stuff. So yeah, the key is just love your neighbor. That's my message for this year. Nobody wants to dislike anybody. Love your neighbor. It's not difficult to do. Be nice to each other. It's simple. Don't hate anybody. Nobody hates anybody. We all love each other. Kuna Matata.
Right. Well, my thing is, treat others the way you want to be treated, and it'll be a much nicer place around here. But Eric Rittmeyer, again, thank you so much for joining us. Take care, and God bless.
You too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Rick. I'll be looking for the check in the mail, too, okay? I'll keep an eye out for that.
Well, I'm going to be looking for that book in the mail, too, so.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Good seeing you.
All right, same here. And this is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. Sharron Engel is my guest, or my co-host. And on the other side, we're going to be talking with Chuck DeVore. Chuck is with the Texas Public Policy Foundation. And we're going to be talking about, will Texas flip blue because of people moving from California? Don't go away. We'll be right back with that answer right after this break.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. Buyyourtimeshare.com. That's buyyourtimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
And as always, we're grateful that you stayed with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Engel. I want to give a shout out to folks who listen to us on radio stations in Jacksonville, Tampa, and the Villages, Florida, Las Vegas and Reno, Macon, Georgia, Lancaster and Pittsburgh, Boulder and Colorado Springs, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Long Beach, California, Arlington, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and now seen on the AUN television network in San Francisco, Sacramento, San Jose, Silicon Valley, wine country, all the way up to Redding. And with that, Sharron, we do have our next guest with us. He's getting to be a longtime friend of the show, and please welcome him back.
Well, it is a pleasure for me to introduce Charles S. Chuck DeVore, who's Vice President of the National Initiatives for Texas Public Policy Foundation. Chuck has also served as a Republican member of the California State Assembly and represented the 70th District, which includes portions of Orange County. Chuck was Vice Chair of the Assembly Revenue and Taxation Committee, as well as Vice Chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee. He also served on the Budget Committee and was a member of the Joint Legislative Audit Committee. Chuck also sought Republican nomination for the United States Senate. Chuck, welcome back to the Conservative Commandos radio show.
Great to be back.
It's great to have you. Now, there's an entire cottage industry that's sprung up around the nation with books and articles and pundits warning about an impending electoral college blue shift. And you're asking the question, will Texas flip because of blue state migrants? You've got some borders problems, don't you, there in Texas?
Yeah, you could say that, although most Texans would say, let's put the border out to the west and keep the Californians from coming in.
And so those Californians, we've been experiencing that migration for years here in Nevada, and we have a little saying. We say, don't Californicate Nevada, but what are they saying in Texas about Californians coming in?
Well, you have some of the same attitude, but really when people decide to migrate between states, there's a lot of self-selection that goes on. So obviously the commitment in culture and in distance is different if you're moving to Nevada, which I sometimes describe as California East, or if you're moving to Oregon or Washington, because you're still in the West, and a lot of Western ideals and cultural mores are the same across those four states. And frankly, it's not that far away. Moving to Texas takes a real commitment. That's 1,300 miles away, and you're moving to a state that's very different culturally than it is in California, maybe in all of the state except for perhaps the area around Bakersfield, where you have a lot of people from Texas and Oklahoma. And so what we found is that it's mostly the conservative Californians that are moving to Texas. And it seems to be that way with people coming in from other states as well.
Now, you mentioned the Ted Cruz-Beto O'Rourke race. We are all the recipients of that race, although he's finally dropped out, good old Beto. But talk to us a little bit about how this migration affected that race.
Yeah, delighted to. So you had a race in 2018 between Robert Francis O'Rourke and Senator Ted Cruz. So O'Rourke was a congressman from the El Paso area, and his campaign kind of struck the popular imagination of the American left because Ted Cruz was the second most hated Republican in the country after President Trump. Not only because he ran for the president and was the last man standing before Trump got the nomination, but also because of his principled stand in favor of the Second Amendment and in favor of overturning Obamacare. So he was a big target nationally, and as a result, that race was the most expensive U.S. Senate race in history. You had all kinds of outside money pouring in. Ted Cruz was way outspent. And what was fascinating to me was CNN did an exit poll on the election and found that if you were a native Texan, native Texans favored Beto O'Rourke, Robert Francis O'Rourke, by plus 3 points. But people who moved to Texas favored Senator Cruz by plus 15. Now, of course, Senator Cruz is also not a native Texan. He moved here too.
Well, it's kind of interesting to me because Beto O'Rourke, I don't think he's really Hispanic, is he? I mean, Francis Robert O'Rourke doesn't sound like a Spanish name to me, and yet Ted Cruz is undeniably has those credentials, and it seemed like that was a kind of an issue. Shouldn't be, really. Martin Luther King would tell us that it's the content of your character that's the issue, but it seemed to be an issue in that race.
Well, certainly it seemed to be, but I think that the bigger issues, of course, were the issues themselves, right? You couldn't have two diametrically opposed visions for the future of this nation than you had between those two candidates. And, again, it was a tight race, but I don't think we are shifting to the blue the way a lot of these liberals think that Texas is. Another interesting data point, about 8 years ago, the Texas Tribune and UT Austin did a poll just of Californians that had moved to Texas, and they found by a 57% to a 27% margin, they were conservative versus liberal. And it was these two things together that decided for us at the Texas Public Policy Foundation that we would ask a question on the same topic in our most recent poll. We polled 800 registered Texas voters just a couple of weeks ago, and we asked them two key questions. Were you born here or did you move here? And if so, from where and how long? And did you vote for Donald Trump for president or Hillary Clinton for president in 2016? And what we found, Texas went for Trump by plus 9. We found that natives favored Trump by plus 7, but people who moved to Texas favored Trump by plus 12.
So what's causing this? Plus 3, plus 7 versus plus 12, plus 15. It seems like you need a migration. You're needing to go right to California and say, please come. More of you, please come.
That's right. That's right. In fact, some people have likened it to all the Tennesseans that showed up just in time to help out at the Alamo. So here we have a bunch of people who are refugees from blue states where you have high taxes and heavy regulation and a bad lawsuit climate. And what our poll found was that the people moving here are largely a middle class and managerial and entrepreneurial group of people. These are individuals who are starting businesses in Texas, they're moving their businesses to Texas, or they were a part of the leadership of companies and they're coming to Texas and they're bringing their expertise and their love of capitalism and love of freedom with them. And as a result, I don't think Texans have anything to fear about the voting habits, at least of the people who have moved here recently.
Well, this outmigration is really a problem for blue cities and deep purple to blue states. I know we've had a problem with it even here in Nevada when the I'm going to just call it a depression of the Obama years struck. We saw a lot of outmigrations of just those people that you're talking about. Is that really what you're experiencing too? Is this idea that they can't live in those liberal states any longer?
Right, and so we're seeing increasing numbers of people who own their own businesses just picking up roots and moving to Texas, bringing that expertise, bringing that capital with them. In fact, and perhaps we'll save it for after the break, I had a very interesting conversation with a gentleman who's just moved to Texas, who has an amazing business model that I think your listeners will get a kick out of hearing.
Well, go ahead and tell us that story. We've got a couple of minutes.
Well, there's this gentleman who was in commercial real estate that met up with me about a month ago, and he's raised some capital. And what he's doing is if you have a business that is between $20 million and $250 million in revenue in California, he will pay you to leave the state. So he will actually give you capital to either take a chunk of your company or to loan it to you, because his research, and it's backed up by some of the big accounting firms like Ernst & Young, suggests that by leaving California and going to Texas or most any other state that isn't called California, that you can save 32% on your operating costs immediately because of the move. And because he's raised capital just for this niche, he's very confident that he's going to be able to make a good return on his investment. So I thought that was remarkable. I'm going to be writing about it very soon in my Forbes column. I'm not quite ready to go live with the name, but isn't that interesting how people can look objectively at the situation between states and create an entire business model around the failure of the political establishment in California to know what it takes to keep business going.
Well, and I'm glad you pointed out that it's the failure of the political establishment, not the failure of the people themselves, because they are truly under a tyranny in these blue states. And we are coming to you from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios and around the world on the internet with TalkStream Live, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, American Political Radio, Leading Edge Radio Network, and AM/FM 24/7. And now you can watch us in that deep blue state in California, in Northern California, on the AUN TV network. We're here with our guest, Chuck DeVore, who's with the Texas Public Policy Foundation, talking about outmigration to Texas. I'm Sharron Angle. My co-host is Rick Trader, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
And once again, we want to thank you for staying with us. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show. My co-host today is Sharron Angle. I'm Rick Trader. Our guest this segment is Chuck DeVore. He's the Vice President for National Initiatives for the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Chuck, thank you for holding through that break. We always appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Chuck, this story that you're telling about Texas, if the people of the Chamber of Commerce had a line to me and they say, Rick, ask Chuck this question, why Texas? What is the magnet to Texas that all these people are leaving California for?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, clearly, if you look at the numbers out of the U.S. Census Bureau, what you see is Texas has consistently been the number one state to where Californians are moving. Now, number 2 and 3 will often rotate between Nevada and Oregon and Washington and Idaho, but and Arizona, of course, but pretty consistently Texas is number 1. And the reason for that, I think, is manifold. First of all, like Nevada and like Washington State, it has no personal income tax. That's a big one. It also has a lighter and more predictable regulatory burden. So in that case, it's probably better than Washington State. I don't know where Nevada falls on that spectrum. Politically, of course, it's more conservative. It's got a more conservative culture. They have very decent infrastructure, better schools in Texas. And so for people thinking about moving to a new state with their family, Texas has a lot to offer, unless you're a committed liberal, in which case you'll probably want to stay in California. Now, certainly there's an enclave of California liberals for the most part. I would argue they're a little more conservative than their counterparts in the state capital in Austin, Texas, because Austin is a hotbed of the high-tech industry. So you have a lot of back and forth between California's Bay Area and Austin, Texas. Well, Austin's always kind of been the odd liberal city in Texas because, of course, it's a government town. Therefore, you have a lot of government workers, a lot of government union members. And it's a college town. You have the massive campus at UT Austin with all those tens of thousands of professors and students. And so that has caused Austin to tilt to the left for quite some time. In fact, I think Austin last elected its Republican mayor in 1988. So it's been quite a long time that Austin has tilted to the left. And I think certainly since before immigration from California became a big thing, by the way.
Well, Chuck, in your article, and Sharron alluded to this, about this cottage industry sprung up around the nation with books, articles, and pundits warning about the impending electoral college blue shift. In your article, you mentioned Florida. Now, Florida might be a different case than Texas. Could you talk about that and why?
Yeah, so it could be. And again, I can't speak for the Floridians because I haven't done the same sort of detailed research on Florida that I have on Texas. But certainly the nature of immigration is different, right? So in Florida, you have a lot of individuals who approach retirement age out of New York and New Jersey that then move down to Florida. You saw that, in fact, just recently with the big hedge fund manager that moved down there, Carl Icahn. And he paid his workers $50,000 apiece if they would come with him to Florida. And I think half of them took him up on his offer. Now, like most New Yorkers moving to Florida, it's not like Carl Icahn's probably going to live there for a long, long time. I mean, the guy's already 83 years old, right? So that's a phenomena with people moving out of New York. And the other thing, of course, is Puerto Rico, this U.S. Commonwealth, where you've got this island that's been devastated with natural disaster, with hurricanes and with earthquakes, and of course the endemic corruption that we see down there that just makes life even harder than it has to be. And a lot of those individuals are, many of them are moving to Florida, and it's hard to tell what their voting habits will be. I mean, they have the right to vote. They're American citizens. They just happen to live in a territory that doesn't get to vote for president. So we'll see, right? Although, again, Florida is a little more culturally conservative, and so if you're liberally minded, you might say, I'm not sure if I want to go down there, right? And so far, the evidence would suggest that Florida's just doing fine, right? They've had a series of Republican governors, and more or less, the Republicans dominate that state. I don't know if it'll continue or not. I feel much more comfortable about my Texas research. In fact, one of the fascinating things that I found is that the outmigration in California just in this last year, according to the Census Bureau, is running at about double the rate that it did in previous years. So California, instead of losing a net of 80 to 110,000 people, which is what they've lost in normal years over the last decade, they lost over 200,000 people net from July of 2018 to July of 2019. So the rate doubled, and again, most of those went to Texas. And what I calculated is that in the 2020 election, that you'll have 2.1 million more people voting in that 2020 election who came from other states just since the last presidential election in 2016. So that means about 6% of the Texas vote in the 2020 election will be from new residents that didn't vote in the last presidential election. So about 6%, and 1% of the total will probably be Californians that moved to Texas just in the last 4 years.
Well, Chuck, you also write in your article, how might interstate migration affect the 2020 vote in Texas? U.S. Census Bureau data suggests that 2.2 million Americans have moved to Texas from other states. How is this going to affect your congressional districts and seats?
Right. So you had about just in the last 4 years, about 2.2 million in and about 1.9 million out for a net of 300,000. Right. And if you look at international immigration and you look at natural birth rates, it's looking like Texas will probably gain 3 U.S. congressional seats, while California is going to lose 1 for the first time in its history since becoming a state.
Well, they have too many already. What do they have? 57? So I
57 electoral college votes, 55 congressional seats, as I recall.
Well, Chuck, this information that you have in your article, and you and Sharron talked about it, about the O'Rourke cruise race, that 3%, what was it, O'Rourke was favored by 3% compared to the people who moved to Texas, supporting Cruz by 15%. Did Ted Cruz do such a bad job for Texas that the people of Texas favored Beto O'Rourke? What's your take on that?
Yeah. So again, some of what's going on is you have increasing numbers of native Texans moving into the urban cores. So just like you see all around the country, the core of our urban areas in Texas are becoming bluer and bluer. And that's the same phenomena you see all over the nation. And furthermore, you see the rural areas and the suburban areas, certainly the rural areas becoming redder, and the suburban areas basically become the battleground. Now, as to why native Texans didn't favor Cruz as much as people who moved here, I think rather than being an indictment on native Texans, I think what it shows is that it blows up this theory that Texans need to worry about the people moving here from other states as the reason why Texas might flip blue. I argue that the objective evidence shows to the contrary, that the people moving to Texas are largely conservative. And that furthermore, winning elections is hard work. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of elbow grease, a lot of brain power, a lot of passion to win elections. And so when people say, oh, we're on the verge of going blue because of all these people coming in from elsewhere, it's like, no, time out. You can't say that as an excuse for losing elections.
Great point.
In fact, the people moving here are helping you, but nevertheless, you still need to work hard because things never stay the same. People always want to hear what your pitch is. They always want to understand what's in it for me. How are you going to make my life better? And for that reason, I'm pretty confident that Texas is going to show some pretty good gains for conservative philosophy in the upcoming election, because now you have a president that has a track record that looks pretty attractive. You have record low unemployment. You have a president confronting the People's Republic of China for the first time in decades and decades. You have a military buildup. You have conservative criminal justice reform. You have all of these things working together that show a compelling vision of what conservatism means versus what? Who are the Democrats going to put up? Bernie Sanders? Really? Joe Biden? Michael Bloomberg? I don't think any of those people are going to do well in Texas in 2020. And I think the result will be a down ticket benefit for candidates that espouse conservative ideals, free market principles, individual liberty, personal responsibility. These are the things that I think that Texans are going to resonate to, and especially Texans who recently moved here from places like California.
Chuck DeVore, the Texas Public Policy Foundation. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Chuck, please tell our audience how they could follow your work, the things that you write, and also the work of the Texas Public Policy Foundation.
Well, you can find us at texaspolicy.com. That's texaspolicy.com. And I'm on Twitter at Chuck DeVore.
All right. Chuck DeVore, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Take
you.
care. God bless. And this is the Conservative Commandos radio show. I'm Rick Trader. My co-host is Sharron Angle. Don't go away. Sharron and I will be back with more right after this break.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Well, Sharron, that just about wraps it up for today's show. I want to thank you for sitting in as my co-host, and I always like for you to tell our audience how they can follow what you're doing when you're not here on Conservative Commandos.
Well, they can go simply to SharronAngle.com, SharronAngle.com. I like to thank our guests after each show because they really make our shows very interesting, informative, and they talk about things that I don't think anybody else is talking about. We had John Dennis, who is running against Nancy Pelosi in California's CD 12. And as you said at the beginning, go, John, go. We wish him the very best in that endeavor.
Wouldn't that shock the world, Sharron?
Oh, it would be a blessed relief, wouldn't it?
Oh, my gosh. Just think, well, we got rid of Harry. You know, Harry's gone. If we can get rid of Nancy, then let's get rid of a lot of other of these liberal Democrats that are in Washington.
There's a bunch. Well, our second guest that we want to thank so much is a former Marine, mostly for his service, but Eric Rittmeyer, a great American, and we were glad to have him on this show talking about New York City. And finally, we had Chuck DeVore on with the Texas Public Policy Fund. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. Texas Public Policy Foundation. And Chuck talked...
Bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, Chuck just said, well, Texas flipped because of the blue state migrants. Don't bet on it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we had a great show. But for right now, we are out of time. We got to run. We got to go. And here's a promise. We'll see you tomorrow on TV and on radio.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. price. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 888-431-0562. That's 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562. 888-431-0562.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to buyyourtimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
Ilhan Omar posts one of the most ridiculous tweets ever. President Trump scores a touchdown with his Super Bowl ad, and Mitt Romney gets disinvited to the upcoming Conservative Political Action Conference. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. I hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday. If you're recovering from a late night of Super Bowl, I'll try and, be calm, not get you too crazy. But I enjoyed the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about Ilhan Omar. But first, I want to talk about the Super Bowl, talk about President Trump's ad, Michael Bloomberg's ad. And just first off, though, the halftime show. I don't know about you, but I thought it was total trash. I mean, This is a family, this is the biggest event, not just sporting event, but biggest event in the entire country. It's broadcast around the world, and you would think that you could have a halftime show that the whole family could enjoy, that you don't have to send your kids out of the room in order to watch. But I thought it was just trash. I mean, it's pole dancers and stripper outfits and bondage uniforms, and then they parade a bunch of kids around intermixed with that while all of this is going on. It was just so disheartening to see that this is what they think entertainment is in America in 2020. I just could not stand it. The other thing were the Super Bowl ads. And I'd love to hear what you think in the comments on what you thought were the best ones, because there were some pretty funny ones. I think my favorite was the Hyundai Sonata, the Smart Pack, with Chris Evans and Rachel Dretch and John Krasinski. I thought that one was funny, and every time it came on, I was cracking up. The other one, and I hate myself for liking this. I absolutely hate myself for liking this, especially since YouTube gives me such a hard time, and they're owned by Google. But the Google ad really got to me. I'm just a softie at heart, I guess, and that one got to me. So I'm a chump, I admit it. So we'll move on. But let me know what you thought were the good ones. There was also political ads. Michael Bloomberg, running as a Democrat, he had an ad, and we'll get to some of his misleading stats on that. But President Trump, in the first quarter, put out a short ad, 30-second spot, that was so powerful. I really thought it was good. It hits right on the mark, and it hits on some of the things that we were talking about in last week's show, how President Trump is rising in minority communities. His support among blacks is higher than ever, historically high among Republicans. He keeps delivering on what he says he's going to deliver. And here's the ad.
I'm free to hug my family. I'm free to start over. This is the greatest day of my life. My heart is just bursting with gratitude. I want to thank President Donald John Trump. Woo! Thank you.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
So that was about his criminal justice reform legislation that was it was bipartisan, wildly hailed in the black community, and just so powerful. And President Trump tweeted this yesterday. He said, "I promise to restore hope in America. That includes the least among us. Together, let's keep America great." Text Trump to 880-292 if you like the Super Bowl ad. Now, Alice Johnson, the subject of the ad, the person who was put in prison for life and then released because of this criminal justice reform, she tweeted this. She said, "2 Super Bowls ago, I was sitting in a prison cell. Today, I am a free woman, and my story was featured in a Super Bowl ad. I will spend the rest of my life fighting for the wrongly and unjustly convicted. God bless America." So that was that side. Very powerful ad. I really liked it. And then you had Michael Bloomberg on the other side trying to do the same kind of thing on pulling on the heartstrings, getting emotion like the Google ad. But he had to do false statistics and a completely false premise in order to do it, which is such a tactic of the left. They will advance an agenda regardless of the facts are there. They will try and influence, persuade, steamroll the American people to going their way, whether the facts are there or not. So this one was the story of George Kemp, who was shot and killed, and his mom is talking about it. And the whole ad focuses on children being killed, gun violence among children. And they put up pictures like this, and it's just a fun-loving kid wanting to play football. And then as the ad goes on, you see this statistic. I want to put this up on the screen. It says 2,900 children die from gun violence every year. Okay, so here's where it all falls apart. All right, because for one thing, again, this ad is geared towards violence, gun violence among children, and they put up this ad, 2,900 children. Well, first of all, it's misleading because the whole narrative that the left is pushing is this mass shootings. Guns are out of control. There's mass shootings. Everything's going to hell. Well, this statistic includes things like suicides and accidental deaths and things like that don't fit the left's narrative, but they'll throw it in there to make the stats look better. Also, that number drops to half of that when you include actual children. He is including young adults in that stat, even though the ad is clearly geared towards children. In addition, George Kemp, the subject of the whole ad, the person whose pictures were there as a child playing football, he was shot and killed when he was 20 years old. So the whole ad is misleading. The stats are wrong, and yet Michael Bloomberg wants you to vote for him based on that. So there's a contrast in ads right there. But again, please jump into the comments. Let me know what you thought as far as the Super Bowl ads you liked. Did you like the game? Did your team win? Just let me know. So next, I want to go to Ilhan Omar, because I guess yesterday she had nothing better to do than to prove that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And this is just her tweet yesterday regarding President Trump and impeachment. It's just so timely, because she just proves she doesn't know what's going on. And it contrasts so well to what the CNN, Don Lemon, and those guys were laughing it up last week, making fun of how dumb Trump supporters were. Remember that? Check this out.
He also knows deep in his heart that Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it. He knows that this is, an administration defined by ignorance of the world. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience, the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump, that wants to think that Donald Trump's the smart one and y'all elitists are dumb.
Yeah, so you remember those guys just had a good old time making fun of Trump supporters. Here's more.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
your math and your reading. So, that was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that.
Yep, we're the dumb ones. We're the rubes out there. So I wonder what these guys. I wonder if there's going to be a segment today from Don Lemon and CNN. Maybe bring those guests back and talk about Ilhan Omar. Because yesterday, she tweeted this. I'll put this up on the screen. She says, "Have we ever had an impeached president deliver the State of the Union address while he is on trial in the Senate? Given the audience in the room will be both his prosecutors and juries on said trial." I wonder, has an impeached president, ever given a State of the Union while he's on trial in the Senate? Well, I guess we have to go back all the way to the last time a president was impeached, Bill Clinton, and guess what? Here's a timeline. Let me put this timeline up and show you how things went down with Bill Clinton. And so we have December 19th, 1998. Bill Clinton is impeached by the House of Representatives. Then we have February 12th, 1999. Bill Clinton is acquitted by the Senate. So, impeached by the House in December, acquitted by the Senate in February. What do you think happened in between those? Check this out. January 19th, 1999, Bill Clinton gives State of the Union address. Look at that, right there in the middle. So you think before she tweeted that, or before her staff tweeted that, you could just look that up? You could just do a search and see, did Bill Clinton give a State of the Union in 1999? If so, when was it? Because that was right in the middle of impeachment, right? Just verify that. Instead, she proves that she's no better than CNN's Trump supporters.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
your math and your reading. So, that was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that.
So reaction to that was just, of course it was going to be outrageous. Here's just an example. Here's just one. It says, "Seeing this stupid statement just reaffirms that this was done for purely political reasons so Dems could smear President Trump. By the way, this statement is from a person in Congress who's being investigated for crimes." All right, so there were plenty along those lines. She is being investigated for campaign finance, immigration violations, you name it. And then, of course, there were some like this. "Have we ever had a congresswoman commit immigration fraud while being married to her brother?" So you can see how that Twitter thread went on. It was really bad. But again, just verify the stuff and don't prove to all of us that you don't know what you're talking about. So next, speaking of not knowing what they're talking about and almost a Democrat, I want to talk about Mitt Romney because, as you know, the Senate voted to whether to call new witnesses. That's how we ended last week. That vote failed, 51-49. There were 2 Republicans who voted with the Democrats, and that were Susan Collins of Maine and Mitt Romney of Utah. And Mitt Romney has been a thorn in the president's side from the beginning, always coming out against him, and now just trying to score political points. It's so frustrating that he claims to be a Republican, yet as far as a media talking person, the left just loves him because they know he will attack President Trump. He'll attack conservatism in general every chance he gets, and the media will put him on every time. So the upcoming Conservative Political Action Conference disinvited him. They said, forget you. We don't want you this year. Here's a report from Fox News. The Conservative Political Action Conference, or CPAC, made it clear on Friday that Senator Mitt Romney, who formerly won the event's straw poll in 2012, would not be welcome at the conference in February, an apparent response to the senator's refusal to follow his party in the ongoing Senate impeachment trial of President Trump. The extreme conservative and junior senator from the great state of Utah, Mitt Romney, is formally not invited to CPAC 2020, tweeted Matt Schlapp, who leads the organization behind CPAC. Schlapp later told Fox News that each year CPAC formally disinvites someone who has been particularly egregious. Mitt Romney deserved this because his Senate tenure is a waste, and his vote was the latest outrage, he added. So Mitt Romney's out. And another person that I wanted to lump in with Mitt Romney while I'm talking about it and who's trying to make waves during this Senate impeachment trial is Bill Kristol. He's a former editor-in-chief of Weekly Standard. He was always a Fox News contributor. He would be the one that they'd kind of turn to for old school, Republican, but he was just so Republican establishment. So it was just so frustrating to watch. He was not conservative. I could see it even back then. But then when President Trump got elected, he drove, feet first into never Trumpism. I mean, he is a big never Trumper, voting Democrat. He'd rather vote Democrat and turn away from all of these gains that we've had over the last 3 years than support President Trump. Well, he was out there and he was tweeting nonsense, basically saying that now we're all Democrats, just like him. Here's a report from the Daily Caller. Political pundit Bill Kristol tweeted, "We are all Democrats now," on Saturday, drawing strong reactions from Trump supporters all over the internet. Not presumably forever, not perhaps for a day after November 3rd, 2020, not on every issue or in every way until then, Kristol wrote, but for the time being, one has to say, we are all Democrats now. That doesn't even make sense. I have no idea what he's talking about. So now, instead of pseudo-Democrats like Bill Kristol and Mitt Romney, we're going to talk about actual Democrats, the ones running for president. Today is the Iowa caucuses, the first time voters will get together to determine which Democrat they want to take on President Trump. And this leads right into next week's New Hampshire primary. So people can really set some good momentum. Candidates can set some good momentum with a strong showing in Iowa, followed by a strong showing in New Hampshire. And here's a report on how things are shaping up. The stars of the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination race spent their final full day of pre-caucus campaigning crisscrossing Iowa and delivering closing arguments that they hope will resonate enough to earn them one of the fabled 3 tickets out of the state. The outcome from Monday's caucuses will set the table for New Hampshire's first-in-the-nation primary on February 11th and provide key insights into the breadth of their appeal and the organizational strengths of their campaigns. So this is crucial. This starts everything off. And right now, the one to watch, the one who really needs a good showing in Iowa is Elizabeth Warren, because she has been falling. Bernie Sanders has been rising. Right now, Bernie Sanders leads. He's a strong first to Joe Biden's second place, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren are fighting it out for that third position. So we'll see tonight how things fall out. But again, that leads right into Iowa, and a poor showing, leads to New Hampshire, and a poor showing in these states could really hurt the fundraising efforts of the candidates going forward. So folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.
Have you been leasing a property for your business or renting storage space? Are you tired of paying rent year after year? Call the experts at General Steel to own a building at up to 30% off now.
I'd been renting a building and paying someone else's mortgage, but General Steel showed me how I could own a space tailored to the needs of my business and for less than renting.
Call General Steel now at the number on your screen for our current building specials and to price your metal building system today.
My building's the dream I've had since finishing my house 14 years ago. I've been using it for a garage, workshop, and storage area for my tools and equipment, and I can't believe how great it turned out.
The economy is improving and the price of steel is expected to rise. Stop waiting. It could cost you thousands. Call General Steel now to see how you can own for less than you thought. Stop waiting to start your business or expand your operation. Call General Steel now.
Call 877-484-7002.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
AM/FM 24/7 Roku channel broadcasts all of our shows on demand. To ensure reliability, we store and stream our content on the same servers as Netflix and Amazon. Our Roku channel is free to use, and anyone owning one of the more than 10 million Roku devices can watch our channel at no cost whatsoever. If you have a television show or are thinking about producing a show, you can be a part of AM/FM 24/7's Roku channel. Watch our great shows on your Roku device. It's free and more reliable than cable TV. Are you stuck with a timeshare? Did you attend the presentation and were seduced and enticed into buying that great vacation and investment? Now you're in the terrible position of trying to figure out a way to get out of that mess. You're not alone. For over 15 years, BuyYourTimeshare.com has been helping people like yourself get out of timeshare ownership. The fact is, there is no resale market. Unscrupulous telemarketers call you and say they have buyers waiting, and the next thing that happens is you give them hundreds of dollars for an ad, and you'll never hear from them again. Another fact is that an identical timeshare to yours is being offered on eBay for $1, and no one is buying it. If you want out of your timeshare, I urge you to go to BuyYourTimeshare.com or call them at 877-94-HELP-ME. That number again is 877-94-HELP-ME. BuyYourTimeshare.com. That's BuyYourTimeshare.com. 877-94-HELP-ME.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Here's why. Dish has the nation's lowest TV price, along with an award-winning DVR that can skip commercials, record 8 shows at once, and get access to thousands of movies at your fingertips. Cable simply can't even compare. So the smart choice is to cut the cable and get Dish. Plus, you get all these great TV features, free HD DVR upgrade, free installation, and free movie channels. Say goodbye to cable and get more with Dish TV. 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. As an added bonus, you can switch to Dish now and receive a $50 Visa gift card. So call now and get Dish TV. Call 877-290-7764, 877-290-7764. That's 877-290-7764. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, monthly equipment fees, and other restrictions apply. Promotion can change at any time.
You're challenging the media gatekeepers and the corporate censors to bring the facts straight to the American people.
He released the secret tapes that he had made with current and former Twitter employees.
One strategy is to shadow ban so that you have ultimate control. The idea of a shadow ban is that you ban someone but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting but no one sees their content. So they just think that no one's engaging with their content when in reality no one's seeing it.
That's something we're working on. I don't know, it's something we're working on where we're trying to get the shitty people not show up. It's a product thing we're working on.
You look for Trump or America and you have like 5,000 keywords to describe a redneck.
In the orientation at Facebook, they said the number one rule of Facebook is don't talk about Facebook. I saw things going on that I personally found to be troubling.
This is Danny Ben David, a software engineer. In the leaked documents our insider gave us, we came across a back-end view of Mike Cernovich's page. On it, we could see Ben David running an action called Action Deboost Live Distribution. Deboosting is a method of suppressing distribution. This occurs because prompts such as share this video are disabled. Where did you see this appear? On whose pages?
I would see it appear on several different conservative pages.
In one slide from Yamamoto's deck, he writes, "Trolls are involved in many destructive behaviors on Facebook." Yamamoto then lists one example, writing, "Red-pilling normies to convert them to their worldview," with a link to a YouTube video by Lauren Chen called Why Social Justice is Cancer.
A whistleblower comes to us inside of a company called Pinterest, which is a big tech company. It's a $13 billion company.
What are we looking at here? It seems to be a bunch of XXX and porn websites, and then there appears to be the live action website. What are we looking at here?
You're looking at pins with domains that are blocked. Any domain on the porn block list, you can't make a pin like that.
Now, one of the documents you uncovered and sent to Project Veritas was thousands of pages long.
It contains offensive terms, porn terms, anything that we don't want to show up on search. There are a lot of terms about Christians, Bible verses, that really don't seem like offensive terms. That typically means they're considered sensitive, beyond brand unsafe, is in a severity level 1. I worked at Pinterest.
Why did you decide to do this?
Because if I didn't, who would?
What came out yesterday with regard to Google was astonishing.
Whistleblower. They're not an objective source of information. They are a highly biased political machine that is bent on never letting somebody like Donald Trump come to power again.
Now, this is a confidential document, correct?
Yes. In fact, if you brought this up without the document, they would say that this is a conspiracy theory.
Wow. So then they wouldn't admit this publicly?
They would never admit this publicly.
In this document, it says, in some cases, it may be appropriate to take no action if the system accurately affects current reality, while in other cases, it may be desirable to consider how we might help society reach a more fair and equitable state via product intervention. What do they mean by that?
So what they want to do is they want to act as gatekeepers between the user and the content that they're trying to access. And so they're going to come in, they're going to filter the content, and they're going to say, actually, we don't want to give the user access to that information because it's going to create an outcome that's undesirable to us.
We all got screwed over in 2016. Again, it wasn't just us, it was like people got screwed over, the news media got screwed over, like everybody got screwed over, so now we're rapidly being like, what happened there? How do we prevent it from happening again?
And so we need to fix that. We need to start policing our users because we don't like to have an outcome like that. We don't want to have an outcome like that to happen again.
It's a time to decide, do we run the technology? Does the technology run us? Are we going to continue to have elections that mean anything? Are we going to continue to think for ourselves, or are we going to just let the biggest tech companies decide who wins every election from now on? You know, I look at search and I look at Google News and I see what it's doing, and I see Google executives go to Congress and say that it's not manipulated, it's not political, and I'm just so sure that's not true. I think the big problem that we have today is there's an ambiguity about whether tech is neutral or whether it's biased. And, you know, I think as someone with a PhD in computer science and 5 years of working at one of the world's top computer science companies, I don't see any doubt that it's very politically biased.
Thanks to the insiders who reached out to us with their stories, we know where big tech companies really stand on the issues. Remember, it takes a lot of courage to risk everything and actually step into the arena to make an impact. As journalists, we at Project Veritas are very grateful for what they do. If you work at one of these big social media companies, or you work in government, or you work for a union, we'd love to hear from you. But you have to be brave. Maybe even wear a camera. You can find out how to contact us securely at projectveritas.com/brave. They may be able to stop one man, but they can't stop all of us.